So I'm building up this kinetic sculpture thing. I just want your opinion on how best can it be heavy. So I'm building this thing. This is the weight, and I'm going to basically parent everything from outside. You see, the best practices I could do, like when I build it, will I just make a whole thing physics enabled and then just make a couple box colliders for it to fit into so that it won't fly off?
I think the best bet would be to
That won't really affect. I won't need it to build it in a special way. Besides, like separate.
And the only advantage of keeping the parent-child relationship would be that we only need a single parent. That would transfer it all, which I told you. If you didn't do that, then every separate piece would be separate. When I got it working on if you want to try it, we have a physics one. I have the current book on here for the physics one.
Oh, sick.
It's got a really good.
Did you ever swap the user? Okay.
Yeah, I did a factory reset.
You have to launch the title from ABD.
No, they didn't update, so you should be able to watch it in here. Okay. It's just some very unknown sources.
I just want to peek at the. All right.
Hello.
Hey, Graham, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man.
Hello from Boston.
Oh, you're in Boston? I thought you were going to be in Australia for some reason.
It's done, but
Oh, sorry, I had the actual YouTube thing open, so I was getting wicked delay. Sorry, what was the question?
Are you going to be in Australia?
Oh, yeah, from the 5th, 6th, actually.
Nice. Isn't it the wrong one for the video hangout?
actually, if I click this one,
I guess I'm in a sexy silhouette for this one.
You are in a silhouette. What's up with that?
I'm in the witness protection program.
Yeah, what happened? Did you
I should modulate my voice or something.
Yeah, did you give up your mob informant? You give up your mob friends between?
Yeah, I actually have information on Trump's conspiracy, so
Right.
yeah, for sure.
I'm the real Lincoln.
I don't know if that's the case.
Hello, Joseph and Tambi.
Hello.
Okay.
How's it going, guys?
Going all right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
Okay.
We got I'm Eric, one of the producers of the show, and then Graham Gossel's here. He helps Matt with the writing.
Hey, what happened to Rusty?
Rusty moved on. He works at Condé Nast Entertainment now.
Oh, magazines. That's a good industry. No.
Well, it's he works for the video side.
Okay. I was gonna say that's a sinking ship.
Yeah. So yeah, he decided to go backwards in time, and
Maybe newspapers after that.
printing presses. Like the hand cranked ones. Actually, yeah. Very interested in that. Yeah. No, he just got a good job offer there, and decided that he was ready for a change of pace.
Fair
No
enough.
love lost though. I mean, no lack of love for Space Time and Infinite series, which he was working on. So yeah, how are you guys doing? Tambi, you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
You work Financial District.
I'm a block away from Trump Tower.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Nope.
Every once in a while, we go to meetings every once in a while in a building off of Columbus Square, Columbus Circle, and like the conference room that we inevitably are in looks like directly at Trump Tower.
If I do this, that's Trump Tower.
Yeah. We have like murderous fantasies every time. We're like, can we like carve out a hole in the window and shoot bazookas through it or something?
Even though he hasn't been here in months, but there's barricades everywhere.
Oh man,
it's just a nightmare.
Such a shit show, right?
Yeah.
To put on New York,
And like Midtown at like prime real estate.
Yeah, like right in the middle of everything. All right, so people are coming in. Let's see. Check on Matt in a minute.
Is Matt going to be on this one?
Yeah, for sure. We're just
Fashionably late.
Yeah, and also like I had to change the Hangout link, so
he sort of has to be, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
we don't know anything.
Nobody else is going to be answering these questions.
Well, this is why I was asking.
Oh, Graham knows though. Graham actually knows a lot. So Graham
we'll see.
Has a silhouette, kind of like evil.
I thought my lighting was bad, but
yeah,
he's an evil villain today.
He's very ominous.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Or in witness protection.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying I should modulate my voice or something.
Here is some Matt's here. Tambi, Joe, Stalamane. Joe, are you on the Amtrak or something? Where are you?
I'm on a bus in Bratislava.
Wow, that's fucking cool.
They have
That's
internet
great.
on the bus in Bratislava.
why?
Things you learn.
I'm doing a Euro trip. I've been traveling for the last 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Are you so you're American and you're just on a big adventurous holiday?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's the 16th country I've been in.
Holy cow. That's epic. All right. Here we go. Here are. Still waiting for people to filter in. Doesn't seem like there's a huge turnout in the chat. But it may be an intimate hangout today.
I mean, I always pretend it's just us in these images here, so who cares about who cares about everyone else?
You're getting it's just 3 people every time,
Yeah.
3 or 4 people every time.
So where is this bus in Bratislava going to?
I'm on my way to Budapest. I was just in Bratislava for the last few days, and we're heading to Budapest now.
Okay. Have you been to Budapest before?
No, I've never been. This is my first trip through Eastern Europe, actually.
Oh wow, beautiful. Yeah, Budapest is one of the most beautiful cities. You know, relatively untouched, or at least it was actually 15 years ago when I was there. Maybe it's a tourist trap now, but it's pretty stunning.
Yeah. It's definitely been pretty hot while we're here. So, but you think it's prettier than like Vienna or Prague, or?
I liked it better than Prague because I found Prague a little Disneyland-like. It's different. I mean, no, Vienna's stunning. Damn. All right, they're all. I just found Budapest very, very real. You know, it's like a real city. It's not like, you know, you're in some movie set, like, and Prague felt like that. But, yeah, it's bigger, I guess. But Sofia in Bulgaria, one of my favorites, I think. Did you get to Sofia?
No, Bulgaria is going to be well in the future. We're traveling from north. We started Helsinki and did a bunch of the Nordic countries, and we've been heading further south through Eastern Europe. So,
Are you like a recent college grad or something?
No. I got laid off in June.
Okay, yeah, because I did a lot of traveling about 7, 8, 9 years ago, and it's like, oh, that was when I first finished college. So yeah, I'm very nostalgic for those days.
Yeah, no, I got laid off in June, and I'm like, I haven't had a summer vacation in like 10 years, so
Yeah.
Go for it.
That's beautiful, man. That's because like once people get on the grind, people rarely stop, and go, all right, cool. I'm gonna take like 3 months off. Like people just don't think it's possible, but
Except for Europeans, they all do that.
well, yeah, they do it like every year. Yeah. My wife is Scottish, and she's just like everything, and she lives here in New York, and so she just doesn't understand like so many things about the lack of holiday that everybody doesn't take. We just had kids, and like the amount of like maternity leave that companies typically give people is just like mind blowing to people from other places. So yeah, there are a couple of people that have filtered in over on the YouTube. I think I'm just gonna invite them over into here because there's just 2 of them. So
No.
if you guys don't mind. If you guys are okay with that, I think it would be nice. Join us in here. Join us in here for the video call. If you'd like. And I also wanted to poll you guys because I had somebody email me and say, "Hey, would you ever consider doing these in the evening because they can't get away, in the middle of the day at work?" And so we've always done it kind of in the middle of the day, lunch hour-ish. But, what do you guys think about doing these a little later in the day? Is that
Doesn't
crazy?
matter. Doesn't matter to me.
No?
Tammy, would you still be in your office if it was later in the day?
Depends on how late. But I'm like 10 years in here now, so Nah,
Okay.
I don't do the 12, 13, 14-hour days anymore.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm cool with it. I think it's a good idea to mix it up a little bit. So you,
We could do like midnight calls.
Yeah, we could do the ones just for like Asia and Australia. You know, and screw everybody else. Well, let's get into it. Yeah, I think. Oh, somebody's at work and they can't join the call, the video call. That's fine. All right. Well, I've invited them in if they want to come in. Otherwise, let's get questions going. But yeah, so I'll kick this off. Thanks everybody for joining up for this call. It's towards the end of the summer. Life is going to get horrible again. Let's talk about some physics. Matt, do you want to catch us up on what's going on in your life and what's going on in the world of space-time from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, summer is great. So I go back to teaching. Technically, it's supposed to be next week, but I'm going to Birmingham instead. And so the week after, at which point, yeah, stuff gets crazy. It's been a nice summer. I feel like I've had a lot of time to think about some of the topics that we're looking at in space-time as we dive towards the holographic principle first. So that's where my head's at. I just was working on the script that we'll shoot tomorrow, which is going to be more on the information content of the universe, and on the limits of the information content and what it tells us that there is such a limit, and that the limit isn't what you'd expect. The limit doesn't depend on the volume of the universe. It depends on the surface area of the universe, which has all these implications. But I've had a really fun rabbit hole dive reading about this stuff and reading about computational limits of the universe, not just the informational limits of the universe, but the limits of computation. And there are some interesting ones there. And now I'm thinking, well, holographic principle, blah, blah, we can actually figure out how big a computer you'd need to simulate the universe. So all sorts of episode ideas are stewing around. Oh, someone's asking me to leave in a bit. PBS is. Can anyone hear me? All right.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Like, so tell us a little more about the computational limits of the universe. What some people probably understand what you mean by that, but tell us a little more about that.
Well, so it depends on essentially it depends on the energy density. So it takes a certain amount of energy to do what you would call a 1-bit computation, which is like flipping a single bit from 1 to 0, 0 to 1, and you can think of all sorts of physical analogies, but the common one people like is taking the spin of a particle and turning it upside down. And there's that it takes a certain amount of energy. There's also a limit to the time. Like there's a minimum amount of time it takes to flip a single bit of information, and so you can use that based on the energy density that the universe has to figure out what is the rate of computation of the universe. How quickly is it computing its own physical evolution? Okay, and so you can figure out, you don't compute the size of the universe to simulate the universe, but you need a big one, and you can figure out how big that is. And I don't know how big that is because I only just read this stuff like this morning. But it seems fun.
Graham, do you have any thoughts on that? Does your work ever intersect with that?
It does not, but it sounds fun. I
disagree, Graham. You had all sorts of thoughts on the information content of the wave function.
Oh, that sure, but not so much on. Yeah, okay. I guess the wave function of the universe counts, but I do think there's this thing called the ADS CFT correspondence, which just is a whole acronym / another acronym for anti-de Sitter space conformal field theory, which is related to what Matt was talking about with the holographic principle, in terms of the idea that you can represent all of the information in a 3D space on a 2D surface. And Leonard Suskind's big on this sort of stuff, and it's related to all sorts of fun black hole information things as well, about having all of the information that fell into the black hole on the surface, which I think was covered in one of the videos actually. But I don't know too much about it. But it's kind of interesting. It's one of those interesting cases where I think actually the physics kind of informed the maths a bit. Or it was the application of that, and it ended up, the ability to draw the correspondence between these two things was, I think, of interest to mathematicians from memory.
I realize that I forget what episodes have been released and which are still being animated. And the one that's due for release, I think, well, we just shot it. Yeah, so it's just for release in a couple of weeks. Is essentially it's black hole entity, but we'll probably come up with another name. And that goes over all this, this stuff that Graham mentioned. We've hinted at it.
What's the typical time from like shooting to release? Is it?
PBS would like it to be longer to give them more time to review, but I think we're pretty close to what they want right now, which is that we have a relatively fully animated draft a week prior to release. I
guess my question is more like, how long does it actually take, like the editing of it?
Yeah, I mean, well, so the process is, Matt has like a big kind of long-term game plan for content that he and the producing team kind of check in on every once in a while. And all right, where are we at with our kind of like big picture game plan? And that kind of informs what we plan to do over, we look like a couple of months out. And then Matt, when you write an episode, it can take, you want to give a kind of back of the napkin estimate of how long it takes you to typically write an episode?
Yeah, it varies massively from episode to episode. So the one we'll shoot tomorrow will take a day, because tomorrow is one day away. If I'm getting, but that's because I've already been thinking a ton about this stuff, and it's kind of just extending what we have, and I've already, I have serious concerns. It tends to take like reading in like on and off for a week or more, while doing lots of other things.
Right.
And then I settle to write, and I can write it. Sometimes I write them in an afternoon. Sometimes they take sometimes it takes a whole weekend. And for Graham can attest to this. It takes us weeks to get it right, because some of the really complex ones, it's hard to find that. I think there's a very narrow narrative thread that allows you to communicate these concepts and and find that one cool while making any sense at all. So sometimes they take ages, and a lot of back and forth. And
how much time do you take thinking about what T-shirt you're gonna wear for each shoot? Because I noticed you wear like specific shirts.
Yeah. I mean, that really adds up.
Like, have you ever repeated a shirt? Because I don't think I've noticed.
I'm glad you noticed, because I have repeated shirts several times, and but I do it, very judiciously. Like, I know when I've worn one recently, and it goes to the bottom of the pile.
Are we going to sort of tally for T-shirts then?
What's that?
Are we going to start tallying the T-shirts that you wear?
Yeah, someone needs to be keeping track in a Google spreadsheet, and then
Well, now I'm gonna go back and see all the. I'm gonna
yeah,
go through the videos.
you need to go and do the research, and then we can call him on it every time he tries to
Keep it
pull
all
one over
and-
on us. Yeah, I mean, I feel like really hard science writing is often like the research phase takes this long, and then the writing the draft is like this, and then the revising it so that it is ready to shoot is like another big chunk.
What about like the post processing, like the actual?
And then the post production takes
or production.
typically like about 7 days. So you know, we shoot it on green screen, and then an editor takes that footage in and cuts together, you know, what we call the kind of the assembly, the narrative assembly, which is just the story, just Matt talking, and then they'll key out the background, take the green out, and then it gets handed off to a motion graphics artist like Grayson. But Grayson is actually working on a VR game right now. We have an amazing dude named Luke Moroldi doing Spacetime right now. He didn't join us, but he's fucking brilliant. But so it would go to Grayson or Luke, and they typically spend like 5 to 7 days animating and dropping in images. And Matt sends pretty detailed graphics notes as well. So like they're working with Matt to decipher complex things. I mean, sometimes it's really evident what you show in a certain place, and sometimes it's as easy as going to NASA and, you know, pulling an awesome Hubble image or pulling, you know, some type of telescope image or visualization. But we do a lot of original graphics, and that's where Matt works with the animators really carefully so that they're like scientifically precise. You know, because we're not, you know, the animators are not all PhDs. So.
I'd also like to add in there, usually, like, after, besides just, like, the 5 to 7 days of animation and production, there's always a round of revisions, because we almost always certainly get some of the science wrong or, you know, misinterpret it. Because there's a lot of, like, technical stuff that can just be misrepresented very easily.
Yeah, even like chart axes and like the labels, like
yeah.
like I see some of the animations. I'm like, you know, these are really detailed.
Yeah, for sure. But
yeah, often it's like that everything's perfect except for like there needed to be a plus or sign where there's a negative, or like needed
also,
to be 6 instead of 7.
Sometimes we'll do an animation and then Matt will see it and he'll be like, "Oh, I was wrong. This is." It's not too often, but sometimes it'll happen.
It's often enough. And yeah, so one thing that's nice about working with Grayson is that the mock-ups that I provide, you know, they're actually relatively limited. Often I can just say some physics stuff and Grayson will just be able to do it like, oh yeah, I get that. Sure. Which is just so much fun to you know, to do that collaboration that way. And then in the end, we can't do it perfectly because space-time viewers are insane. Like there's no way we can not make mistakes or not have something that's picked up. Like in the last one where it was the anomalous electromagnetic moments, Luke made this amazing dipole field for the electrons, like the magnetic field around the electrons, and we had someone comment, "Oh, that's clearly not a pure dipole. I can see higher order moments in that field." And
why is that guy watching introductory physics videos?
Just so he can make those comments.
and who the hell can see higher order, you know, quadruple moments?
I feel like none of the viewers should be able to spot mistakes because we don't really know.
We're clearly too low.
Yeah, and VC Diag is back too.
Yeah, even Gareth Dean was back to comment on the last one. Fortunately, they were gentle.
And then I also want to note that after the graphics are done, it goes back to Mike, who's the editor, and he does sound effects and music, which is very key, very important.
That chill, like relaxing music that plays in the background.
Yeah, we got to get that meditative Matt O'Dowd.
We should do like a space-time album or something. Like,
yeah,
drop a mixtape.
I'd be into that. There's that one that sounds like a little mysterious when some of the topics are a little more quantum-y or
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like all the things we don't know. I mean, that's the post process, and then it goes up. And then I think what was it? There was we uploaded a video the other day, and it was supposed to be a sound of like, it was supposed to be like a sound, some like random whoosh sound, but it was like a baby crying randomly. I mean, we don't.
Yeah,
I can't
weirdly,
remember
so-
exactly what, but we were like, "What the hell?"
We have like a sound library
Sound like
that we
babies crying.
wait, did it get published though?
No, we caught it.
Okay.
It was just one of these incredibly random.
I guess I have like a false
things.
memory of like seeing something like that recently.
Right.
I don't know.
But you know what? 6CEF asked back to information content. It says, why is the information content dependent on area and not volume?
Well, how about we make an episode that explains exactly that and release it? In fact,
Mostly so we can understand it first and then answer the question.
yeah. So is that. So there are two answers. One is why do we think that that's the case, and then why physically, causally, is that the case? Why do we think that that's the case? The answer comes from trying to figure out black hole entropy. So there was this mystery as to how it could be that black holes, by the no-hair theorem and by simple thinking about black holes, shouldn't have entropy, but they break the second law of thermodynamics. And so this guy Jacob Bekenstein figured out, in fact, they should have entropy proportional to their surface area, and was able to show that by just like some simple, relatively simple math of building a black hole and what's the how much information would fall into a black hole as you build it, and it turns out that it's related to the surface area. And then Stephen Hawking figured out black hole entropy based on Hawking radiation. So you allow a black hole to evaporate, how much entropy does it release into the universe as it evaporates, and basically got the same number. And so it's definitely the case. Black hole entropy proportional to its surface area. But entropy is essentially the same thing as information. It's hidden information content. And so this gave us the Bekenstein bound, which is the maximum information you can fit into any volume of space, and that is the case for the black hole, and it's proportional to the surface area of that space, which is surprising. You'd expect it to be the volume. If you make a pile of thumb drives, what is the storage capacity? It's proportional to the volume of that pile, not to the surface area, and that inspired other thinkers to extrapolate to the universe, and inspired first Gerard Batuft and then Susskind to come up with the holographic principle, which gives the why explanation, which is in terms of string theory. Okay, so you can devise a string theoretical description of the universe of gravity that has exactly this property where the information content is proportional to the surface area. And in fact, physical laws play out on the surface of the volume, which dictate the apparent 3D volume. And that's so, the why is that the universe is much stranger than you think. And yeah, it's gonna take some episodes, but we'll get there.
You're working. Go ahead, Tammy. Sorry.
Just like a quick sort of related question. Hawking radiation. Everyone just kind of assumes like that's correct, right? The theory.
Kinda.
Because it's really hard. It'd be really difficult to ever detect. How severe would it be if that just isn't true? Like a lot of these things, depend on that. No.
Right. How severe? Does something jump to your mind immediately, Graham? I mean,
it's kind of. I mean, it would be very interesting how severe it would be. So the basis of these calculations is kind
I'm sorry.
of this-
Every time you talk, I feel like you hacked into a conference call of world leaders and you're about to ask for like a ransom.
$1 million.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm at the Boston Convention Center for the American Chemical Society bi-yearly thingy. So as a physicist, I'm a bit of a sheep in wolf's clothing here. But so these calculations come from this kind of dysfunctional marriage of general relativity and quantum theory anyway. So they're a little bit of a hack. So from that point of view, if it turned out to be completely rubbish, that would be interesting because it means that wasn't as good of a trick as we thought. And we sort of know that it's an approximation because you really need a quantum theory of gravity to get it anyway. But the current working assumption is that that's a pretty good approximation to what's actually happening based on the quantum theory of gravity that we don't have yet. So in some sense, that would tell us something interesting about the quantum theory of gravity by virtue of the fact that this rough approximation we thought we had is no longer valid. But I don't think it... On the flip side, though, for quantum field theory itself, it works so well elsewhere, and there's no good reason for it to necessarily work as well as it does in this case for
it kind of feels like how what's it called? Inflation is talked about, where it's like, oh yeah, it happened, like, is it, people, it's like almost taking it for granted, like, oh yeah, this theory works, everything makes sense, cool, let's just go with it as being.
I think that's a bit different in the sense that, oh, sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I just feel a similar, or have felt a similar uneasiness about something purely theoretical being taken as fact. In the case of things like gravitational waves, they're so clearly predicted by the mathematics in a relatively simple way that really GR would have to be pretty wrong if they didn't exist. For Hawking radiation, it's a little bit different because it's a hack, but the fact is different hacks led to the same result.
Yeah,
people have derived Hawking radiation by thinking about quantum tunneling of stuff within the black hole. You've got the same answer, and the fact that the entropy you get from Hawking radiation matches the entropy you get from building a black hole by dropping bits of information onto it, get the same number. That would be an eerie coincidence.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah.
But still.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a test of the relation between general relativity as a classical theory and quantum field theory, which could totally be superseded by the correct correspondence between quantum field theory and this quantum theory of gravity that we don't have. But
by the way, so the idea of a giant hole in space-time screwing with quantum fields, it's you would expect it to be the case almost. It would almost be unusual if something like that didn't happen.
Speaking of the marriage of the two theories, any thoughts on Eric Verlin's emergent gravity stuff?
I don't have strong thoughts on it.
I don't think I know enough about it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get to it at some point.
Tell us about it, Tammy, if you're comfortable.
Oh no.
Hell no.
Absolutely not. Google it. From what was I?
There was a result recently that contradicted
the back reaction blog physicist. She
Sabine
she would,
Hobson.
yeah. I never say her name because I don't know how to pronounce it. She described how dense and sort of difficult his paper was to get through. So obviously, people like me have no shot.
Matt, there's a question which is much easier to answer. Your videos have always been very accessible and approachable, especially for amateurs. What other resources can you recommend that focus on concepts and not so much on the college level math? And like anybody here, feel free to chime in, because, you know, the question is basically, are there other places that have kind of substantive material about concepts?
Well, there's that German one, that another thing I don't pronounce.
Oh, Kurzgesagt.
Yep, them.
Right. Yep. They're
They're
great.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really, really good.
Yeah,
They're very
Kurzgesagt, in a nutshell, is the YouTube channel, which they always have very thought-provoking topics that they manage to communicate the essentials, you know, in not a totally dumb way. But
I just wish they would make videos like more often, because they are awesome.
Yeah, very high production value though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
take-
They're actually
I kinda
a
wanna-
design firm.
I wanna
and
tell them,
this
like,
is, their
guys, like-
passion project.
Bring the quality down a little bit. You don't have to get just get more content out.
Yeah, not that long
maybe
ago,
like, what,
they
one a month?
actually started
You can see
doing their
their-
videos in 60 frames a second, which
Yeah,
like
you can see their
essentially
animation style
doubles
just really
their-
getting like super fancy with each video, and it's like, guys, you're spending too much time on that.
They're an animation
Yeah.
firm. That's like their day job. So this is like a passion Venn diagram for them. It's like,
But we want content.
yeah, you're like, we want to talk about stuff.
There's
so
also
what else?
3
Anything
blue, 1
else?
brown.
3 blue, 1 brown. It's great.
Yeah, 3 blue,
Oh,
1
yeah.
brown.
He's awesome.
For there's 60 symbols.
Yep.
Yep, I watched them.
Which is great.
Vsauce has some really cool maths ones.
You know, I
Mathologer is good, although
I've
sometimes
seen-
it can be a little dry.
Which one?
Which one's that, Grayson?
Mathologer.
Oh yeah, he's good.
I've seen a few good videos from what's the lab in Illinois? I just forgot the name. The accelerator.
Oh, Fermilab.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fermilab puts out videos here and
Oh
there.
yeah, Don Lincoln's stuff. Yeah. So he's the guy who Lincoln at Fermilab, and he's a legit, respected particle physicist, and has covered some pretty deep stuff. Actually, that's a really good recommendation. Really accessible level too.
I watch a lot of the Royal Institution. They do those public
Yeah.
lectures. They get a lot of well-known like science communicators, physicists, etc. They have a lot of good talks.
Also, Suskind. So you go to
Yeah.
like the standard YouTube channel, and Leonard Susskind has a bunch of lectures. Get mathy, but not all of them. And so this is the guy who came up with a lot of this stuff, and he's a great communicator and lecturer. So there's some real gold in there.
The World Science Festival has a lot of good videos up.
The other place to go where you have to just be a bit more, patient with your search is just physics. And
Say that one more time. You glitched.
Yeah.
so if you know the Stack Exchange site, the Physics One, Physics Stack
Yeah.
Exchange, there are some excellent physicists who get on there and answer
Jared
all
Tuft
sorts.
has an account there. You see him
Does?
pop up from Jared Tuft. He turns up from
yeah,
time to
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
There's
And
also
this is- you can search and you get people up and down vote. And if something has a lot of upvotes, it means it's been upvoted by physicists, and so it's right. And I found some spectacular explanations of some really difficult concepts there, or easy concepts.
For reading non-video stuff, probably my favorite thing to read is Quanta magazine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Sean Carroll's blog is also very good.
Yeah.
Sean Carroll's blog, yeah.
Oh, I just started listening to his podcast this morning, I think.
His textbook's good too.
Yeah, I started recently too. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I was listening to the one with Carlo Rovelli
Yep.
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just started. He doesn't have a lot going on yet, but it's cool. Yeah,
It's only been like a month or two, but he's put up a good amount of stuff so far.
I feel like 8 or 9 out. Yeah, I like his kind of worldview. I hope he doesn't get too like social oriented because like
he was saying it's gonna have like non-physics stuff.
But like I'm like, there's plenty of that out there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is an interesting question from James Flowers. How would you say the health of the program is? Are you happy with the growth rate? What else can we do to support it? We are happy with the growth rate. You know, we're at 1.3 million subscribers, which is just super cool. For a little astrophysics show hosted by a cool guy from Australia. Are you happy with the growth rate? So yes. And the program is very healthy. PBS is very happy with it. And so yeah, I think we're doing great. We're in great shape.
I assume there's no like, I guess that other program, I forget, they got canned. There's no risk of that for space time, right?
No, not that I know of. You know, like on all the conversations that I have with PBS on the kind of business relationship side, it's very positive. And and a lot of that's because the Patreon is strong, because the sponsorships, are strong, and basically PBSDS is just in a place where they need things to do as much as they can to pay for themselves. So
do you guys have like swag? I haven't really browsed the site. I mean,
we have some T-shirts, yeah, and we should
put some stuff out. Put some stuff out, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done a T-shirt plug on the
even small channel. Things like when we got the Eclipse glasses, like the sticker and stuff. That stuff's good. I like that.
For sure. I have a Spacetime sticker on the back of my phone. Cool story, bro. Yeah, we should. We should. Yeah, we should get more. We should get more swag out. But yeah, I mean, I think that really like Spacetime has become an example of a show that is working really well for PBS because it has become almost entirely self-sustaining. So it is a healthy show, and like we don't want you guys to worry about it going anywhere. It's in good shape. It's supported by the network, and so all good.
But please stick around. That's you're doing all.
Please keep watching. Yeah.
I'll be a patron unless I get fired or laid off. Then I'm gonna have to go underground for a while.
Yeah, that's fine.
and be on the chat room side of this thing.
For sure. Yeah, do what you got to do. Just keep watching. So yeah, I mean, things are good. Things are good, and we hope you guys keep in touch with us about shit that you want to see. If you're not happy with anything, email me. You all have my email from the Patreon emails that I send out. So like, hit me up, let me know. Someone emailed me about the time of these hangouts, and I was like, oh, we never thought about that. So we'll try to do it at a later time next time.
I'd be into a midnight one where we're all silhouettes.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah,
I'm down. And we're naked.
Sure.
Well, you don't know that currently about any of us, actually.
Well, we're gonna be silhouettes, so
whatever floats your boat.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Matt, do you have any closing thoughts for us? Do you want to grace us with any closing wisdom?
You supposed to have thoughts now?
Yeah, this is a big deal.
Matt, have you ever been to a rocket launch? I'm planning on going in October. I'm trying to get to one in Florida, a SpaceX launch.
Hell yeah!
It's in my bucket list of like random things I want to see.
I think NASA's on the verge of approving the first manned SpaceX launch.
Whoa!
Which will be good because Elon Musk can use some good publicity right now.
I think the one I'm aiming for is unmanned. But yeah, it's supposed to be in October.
It would be. They've never done a manned yet. Awesome. Yeah, I got to get down there. I'm annoyed at myself for never seeing a shuttle launch.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I lived in Florida, in Central Florida, and I have seen so many that the magic was just totally stripped out of it.
Whatever.
We were just. I mean, I wasn't like there, But we like at school, you could just hear sonic booms in the middle of the night. You'd hear a sonic boom, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's the shuttle." Whatever.
There was the one you can see launches from Virginia's Wallops Center or whatever from here from up in the city. I saw one a few years ago. Like you see it basically like a big shooting star. But
Wow.
yeah.
From Virginia?
Yeah, it happened a couple of years ago. You basically you saw it like go from the New Jersey side of the Hudson over like the World Trade Center.
Wow.
They don't have launches too often there, and they're not the biggest rockets.
Right.
But every now and then, depending on I guess the orbit, you can see them from up here.
Sweet.
Well, thanks for the closing thoughts, Tambi.
You know, I don't know. I've been very chatty. I've been chatty today. I don't know why.
I'm into it. I'm into Chatty Tambi.
That's cool. That's cool.
That can be the next shirt.
Thank you, Clay, Graham. Thank you, Grayson, James, Matt, of course, Tambi in the chat, Asa, and 6CEF, and Dustin. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, we'll see you in the comments. Like and subscribe.
we have
Smash that like button, hit the bell.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye, guys.